So the day has finally come, the day that many of us have been predicting and wanting to happen after the growing love for Henry Cavill's Superman in the decade after Man of Steel released. Man of Steel 2 is now a top priority by Warner Bros. Discovery, and the rumour is that they are currently looking for writers to helm the project following Cavill's return in Black Adam later this week. Alongside this news, we got some big DC film updates surrounding a Black Adam v Superman film, The Batman 2, new James Gunn DC movies, and some details on the change in leadership following the Warner Bros. Discovery takeover. I will be doing a separate video on the Batman 2 news later today, but in this video, I'm going to focus on the other DC stories with a primary look at the Man of Steel 2 announcement. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my upcoming content surrounding Black Adam, Superman, The Batman 2, and other upcoming DC films, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, turning on your notifications, and following me on social media via the links in the description below. But without further ado, let's dive into all the latest DC news. So last night, out of nowhere, me and many others were shocked by the news that came in a big Hollywood Reporter article saying that Warner Bros. Discovery have their eyes centered on a Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill's Superman. According to the report, under Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav and Warner Bros. Pictures heads Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi, the studio has had a massive desire to bring back Cavill's iteration of the hero. It states that the project would essentially be Man of Steel 2, and like the original film, it would be produced by Charles Roven and is currently in the stage of finding writers. Now, there's no mention of Zack Snyder coming back to do the sequel, and you know my unpopular opinion that I personally think Man of Steel was a great film by him, and I would like to see him back. But I don't think we're going to get that because Snyder has moved on to other stuff, and I think from a filmmaking perspective, the new regime at Warner Bros. Would want to have fresh writers and filmmakers spearhead the new set of films. That doesn't mean Snyder won't come back at some point, but based on what we are hearing, that's just my current guess. Now, it does say in the article that there is a wish list for the film, and apparently Christopher McQuarrie, the filmmaker behind the Mission Impossible movies and the writer of Top Gun Maverick, is a name to direct on there. It does say that the director is working on the next back-to-back Mission Impossible films, so it would be hard for him to find time, but I do think that an option like this would be a great choice. At the end of the day though, I'm just over the moon to see that this new regime has faith in Cavill's Superman, and that we're of course likely to get a Man of Steel 2 now. Cavill's iteration was not in the initial plans for the Black Adam movie, with the cameo reportedly being denied by ex-studio head Walter Hamada, and instead he wanted to introduce a new Black Superman with J.J. Abrams being attached as producer. It's stated in the article that after Hamada said no to Cavill, that it was Dwayne Johnson who went around the new executives, including DeLuca and Abdi, to get the green light for this to happen. The post-credit scene was shot in mid-October after negotiations, and now with Man of Steel 2 looking for writers, this news cements that Warner Bros. Discovery wants Henry Cavill back as Superman long term. I honestly couldn't be happier about this news, and regardless of there being a new filmmaker or not, what this shows me is that the new Warner Bros. Want to work with people to make the best films with characters people love on screen. They have to get Superman and Batman in order on film before they can build the brand out, and it's great to hear that they are prioritizing that with this announcement of a new Henry Cavill Superman film in the process. And as I spoke about Dwayne Johnson getting that cameo before, there was also some updates surrounding his plans for the characters to cross over in the movies ahead. In the Hollywood Reporter article, it says that Johnson is publicly pushing his vision for a future Black Adam vs Superman movie, which comes as he talks up his Cavill cameo at the end of the new Black Adam film. So it's clear that The Rock is definitely at the forefront of Cavill's return as Superman, and he very much wants to do more with these two characters in future movies. We'll have to see how that goes down, but what's clear is that this help by The Rock has resulted in Warner Bros. Actively moving forward on a Man of Steel 2. More DC news that came out in this article was a brief update surrounding James Gunn, who looks to be moving on from Marvel after Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and pushing 2 new DC projects in the years to come. Sources told The Hollywood Reporter that James Gunn and producer Peter Safran are in talks with Warner's for a mystery movie and possibly more after. DC is definitely in play, said an insider, and they are looking at all of their intellectual property. James Gunn will focus on a second season of Peacemaker first, and then these 2 potential movies would follow that if all goes well. So while they were the main DC film announcements minus the Batman news, which again I will cover later on, the article did expand on the whole leadership question at WB. And while I'll also be discussing this more in detail with my Matt Reeves Batman video later today, it does sound really promising when it comes to what they are looking for. According to what was said, after months of searching, Zaslav came close to hiring executive Dan Lin for the role of DC chief, but talks didn't go through and DeLuca remains in charge for now. He greenlit Joker 2 and has been making decisions on Aquaman 2 and the Flash film, alongside meeting with different filmmakers for more projects. The rumours are that either he could become the new boss or someone else in their search over the coming months. It's said that a script for Wonder Woman 3 is also expected soon, and a script for the Flash sequel is already written by the Aquaman writer, but alongside things we already knew that could happen and things that this article announced are on the way, heads DeLuca and Abdi want more things in development soon and more things on the ready to go, which is quite the opposite to what Hamada was going for in his time as leader. We've got a new era of DCEU films, separated universe films like The Batman and Joker, and much more in the pipeline that I must admit does get me excited when you consider what variety they are going for. They are listening to fans with announcements like Henry Cavill's Superman returning, but then they are trying to expand and add new flavours into the mix with characters like Black Adam and filmmakers who they wish to collaborate with. We'll have to see if it pays off, but this big DC news is definitely a welcome update, and as I said, I could not be more happy about a Man of Steel 2. I think the first film is one of the most underrated comic book movies of all time, but whether you like or don't like that film, I think many of us love Henry Cavill as Superman. So giving him and maybe a new writer and director the opportunity to make an amazing new Superman film to push forward this new era of DC is, in my opinion, very exciting to hear. But that was my video discussing all the updates for the Man of Steel 2 announcement and other DC projects that were revealed in that Hollywood Reporter article. As I said, I'm going to be doing a video later today discussing the new Batman movies that were talked about too, and I will expand a bit more on what I like about these new reveals. I will also be covering Black Adam when it releases later this week, so stay tuned for my review, breakdowns, and essays on the Dwayne Johnson movie. But what do you think towards the news that Henry Cavill's Superman will be getting a potential Man of Steel 2, and are you excited for the new era of DC films that Warner Bros. Discovery seems to be pushing forward with? Let me know down below in the comment section. For much more videos and news on DC projects like Black Adam, Man of Steel 2 and The Batman, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.